Hey everyone, welcome to our third and final video about the 8 characteristics of living things. In this video, we're going to talk about the last 4 characteristics. We've already talked about the first 4. So, the 5th characteristic of living thing is that they obtain and use materials and energy. And this process is actually called metabolism. So, metabolism means that chemical reactions are taking place that help an organism build up or break down materials. And the 2 examples of metabolism that we've already studied are cellular respiration, which is breaking down glucose, and photosynthesis, which is making glucose. So, autotrophs, which are a type of organism that do not have to eat other things to get their energy. They can produce their own energy. They do that mostly through photosynthesis. So, good examples are plants, algae, and certain bacteria, which are autotrophs that make their own energy. Heterotrophs have to get their energy from something else. They could be herbivores or plant eaters. They could be omnivores that eat both plants and animals, carnivores that eat other animals, or decomposers, which get energy from dead organisms. See if you can figure out what kind of an organism this archer fish is. So there's the fish. Take a look at what it's going to do. There's a cricket. That cricket looks tasty, right? Did you see the fish shoot water at the cricket? Watch again. You can see the cricket. You can see the fish. There he goes. He shot the cricket into the water and he ate it. So what does that mean? Is he an omnivore, a carnivore, an herbivore, a decomposer, or some sort of autotroph? What do you think? All right, which type of organisms do photosynthesis? Those are autotrophs. And what is the combination of chemical reactions through which an organism builds up or breaks down material? These are things like photosynthesis and cellular respiration. That's called metabolism. All right, and what is an example of metabolism? Like I said before, that's photosynthesis and cell respiration. Those are 2 examples. Which heterotrophs eat both plants and animals? Those are omnivores. Which heterotrophs get energy from dead organisms? Those are decomposers. And next, we're talking number 6. Living things respond to their environment. So the living things detect and respond to stimuli. Stimuli are just signals that come from the environment. A stimuli could be an internal stimulus, like your blood sugar is getting low and your stomach starts growling, or it could be an external stimulus, like sunlight or gravity. Some examples of stimuli are light, water, temperature, gravity, and blood glucose levels. So some are internal and some are external. Like blood glucose is internal, light and water and temperature, of course, are external. So did you know it's not just animals that can respond to things in their environment? This is an example with plants. So check out how these plants are going to grow. You might start to notice a little bit that they are growing straight upwards at first, but they start bending, and they are bending toward the light. And you'll see that more and more as the video continues. Plants are often going to respond to light in their environment, and also they tend to respond to gravity, which you'll actually see in your activity. So hint, hint, this is an idea about your activity this week. But you can see here those plants are really starting to respond to the light. Like especially this one, you can really see it starting to bend over towards the light and respond. You can see that down here as well. So even plants, it's not just animals, but plants, fungus, protists, and bacteria can all respond to their internal or external environments. All right, so true or false? Only animals respond to stimuli. That's false. All right, number 7 of our characteristics of living thing is that all living things can maintain a stable internal environment. And there is a special word for that we're going to talk about. It is called homeostasis. So homeostasis is how an organism maintains a stable internal environment. And most of these organisms need to keep internal conditions or the conditions inside their body fairly constant and fairly stable. For example, like the amount of water. We as humans need to stay at a certain level of hydration. Otherwise, we start to feel kind of bad. And we have our kidneys to help us do that. Temperature is a big one as well. And you can see this rabbit helps maintain its temperature by having blood vessels in its ears that are able to release heat. It's almost like a thermostat for your body when your body does homeostasis. If you're too hot, you sweat. If you're too cold, you shiver. If you are dehydrated, you get thirsty and you drink water. If you're overhydrated, you might produce extra urine. So you maintain a stable internal environment, and that is called homeostasis. So what is it called when you maintain a stable internal environment? Homeostasis. And number 8, we're at our last characteristic of living thing, and this is really an interesting one. As a group, living things can change over time, not as an individual, as a whole group. So any group of any given organism can evolve or change over time, and it takes hundreds of thousands or even possibly millions of years for this to happen. And note, please, individuals do not evolve. This is something that groups of organisms do over time. Check out this video.
These extraordinary shrimp don't have eyes because they have no use for them, hence their name, blind shrimp. These micro-miracles of evolution live here in the black depths of a river in a sunless cave in Madagascar, and nowhere else. They feed themselves using their sense of touch, with their long, sensitive antennae to find food. Their main predator? The blind cavefish, another creature that has evolved beyond having a useless sense of sight. Another creature unique to this one particular watery environment.
Kind of interesting. So those shrimp, they're in a dark cave. They don't need to be able to see. And so over time as a group, their eyes got smaller and smaller and smaller until they just didn't have them anymore. All right, here's some questions. What is change over time called? That's evolution. How about true or false? By the end of your life, you will have evolved. False. Individuals don't evolve, only groups of living things, and it takes millions of years, sometimes thousands, but usually a really long time for an organism to evolve. And if individuals don't evolve, then think of a better name for when something like a Pokemon changes during its own lifetime. That could be development. Thanks for listening, guys. Here are just a list of characteristics, but thanks for listening and understanding. If you have questions, please contact me.